Hello friends! If you're watching this the day that it's posted, I am blissfully on holiday in the Riviera Maya in Mexico, and I thought that I would leave you with an updated workshop tour. Stay tuned! Get ready for a great shop tour. We're going to start by the stairs and work our way counterclockwise. You're going to see all of my tools and my storage spaces. Let's start with the stairs. My workshop is in the basement, so I have to go down the stairs and turn left, and I'm in my workshop right away. Fortunately, when the people built this house, they had wide furniture in mind. So our halls are nice and wide, and even this stairwell here goes down, and I've got a ledge to my left. I can take a full sheet of plywood and tip it over. Not a problem. I didn't have any problem getting any large piece of furniture or equipment into the basement. Right at the bottom of the stairs, I have this door. And behind this door is a very messy room for paint storage. This will be a project probably this summer or this fall. Or who am I kidding? Maybe it'll be next year, but either way, it has to be refinished. If you look straight out of the paint closet, you'll see where I am right now. These are the stairs to my right, and along this wall I keep some lengths of board because I don't have a wood storage rack. So this is a project I've got coming up. These are some random cutouts that I've done. This is a lattice for maybe a trellis that I might be doing this summer. And then in this corner I keep my clamp storage. And I've got my clamps on this wonderful mobile clamp rack, which was something that I found on Pinterest. It's on casters, it's got spots for all of my clamps to hang, and I also keep my glue here, so it's easy. And I just take it to where I need to be. Next to my clamps, we have various bits of storage along this wall. This box contains things that I'll be using in the garden, such as those planters that I made a couple months ago. And here is a small bandsaw, which I don't get much use out of. It has maybe a 2-inch clearance. It's not that useful for me at this point. I have a small heater unit, which I turn on to 85 degrees, and it makes it just a little bit warmer in my nice cool basement. Continuing from the heater in a clockwise manner, we have a cabinet from my great-grandmother, which I would love to restore one day, but in the meantime it houses my corded drills and some hinges. This box from my old table saw that I got 3 years ago and have since upgraded from hosts my wood scraps and some hardwood scraps down below. This movable table on casters is what I lift my planer up onto, and I wheel it around the shop pretty much as any sort of generic surface. I like to keep things movable in this workshop since it is so small. And then these cabinets, which I got from a friend of my mother's who was redoing his kitchen. These house all sorts of storage. So junk in there, sanding things and paper. I've got stain over in the left, wire in the second one. You know, a hodgepodge of things that you don't need to get all the time. And in this corner I finally get to tools. Here I have the Lazy Susan that I made a year and a half ago out of 3/4 inch OSB. The center rod here is a shower curtain that I scavenged. And I've got 4 maybe 100-pound load-bearing casters underneath, and my tools are all bolted down. I keep the drill press, the scroll saw, my grinder, and my belt and disc sander here. Also underneath, which you may not be able to see, is the planer. That's the heaviest thing that I have to pick up and put on my movable table. And I keep an old miter saw down there and some light bulbs as well. This workbench right here was the very first thing that I made in my shop. In fact, when I wanted to build it, I didn't have a bench to build it with, so I used 2 sawhorses and a sheet of plywood, and that was my workbench that I built this workbench on. I used to keep the tools that were on my Lazy Susan underneath here, but I got sick of breaking my back, so I built the Lazy Susan to keep them up all the time. Now I primarily use this workbench for fine detailed work and staining and finishing instead of that rough cutting and screwing that you need to do at the beginning of a project. If this shot looks familiar to you, it's because this is where I filmed my product review for my Hitachi cordless drill driver set. The video where I kept saying lithium ion instead of lithium ion. It was one of those days. Anyways, here I have my miter saw, which was a beautiful addition to my shop a year ago. And I keep a whole bunch of tools on this backboard. This was an extra shelf from a shelf project that I did, and I turned it into a desk. And I've got 2x4s running up the back, which is what the sheet of OSB is attached to, because I can't actually drill into the walls of my basement. It's a long story. Anyways, I've got a smorgasbord of French cleat systems or directly screwed into the OSB systems to hang the tools that I use most frequently. And on the desktop, I keep things like my small router table and my spindle sander, and then my personal protective equipment is right here, like my glasses and my earmuffs. And then I have an island workbench. This was actually left over from the last owner in a different room, and it was very dilapidated. So I added a lot of hardware to it and glue to make it stable, and I added a fresh top to it as well. And this is where I do all of my rough cutting. So anytime I need to do a cut or drill something or glue something, I do it here because I don't care about the surface. This is also where my table saw out feeds to, and you'll see that there's a little bit of a lip here. It's about an inch or an inch and a half, and I will eventually build a proper out feed attachment to this so I can have long boards shooting off and not falling off when they get a foot or two past the blade. It's so obnoxious. But as you can see as well, I've got a speed square that I screwed into the corner. Very handy. It sits up about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, something like that, the thickness of a speed square. And anytime I need to make a quick measurement, I just shove my piece in the corner, it stops, and I can see it real quick. It was a great, simple, cheap upgrade. And then we complete our tour in this corner. Here I have my table saw. This is a rigid hybrid saw. It's a 250-pound cast iron top. I love it to death. This was my upgrade from a $150 Craftsman table saw. This, I get perfect 90-degree angles. The trunnions are wonderful. I can fit my dado stack. The fence, it moves just beautifully. I love it to death. Behind me here, I've got some storage for spare lumber. And then to my left, you'll notice the paint closet. And that's where we started the tour. So we've come full circle. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this workshop tour a little bit better than this one this past fall. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'm the Midwest Man Mountain. Be sure to subscribe. And until next time, bye.